One Piece references are hidden everywhere, but Attack on Titan has one that no one noticed. You skip to episode 41, you can see a boy wearing a straw hat, clearly a Luffy Easter egg. And those horns? Are they a reference to Chopper, or just coincidence? Meanwhile, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure hid its reference very well. Skip to part A of the manga and you'll find a seemingly normal scene, until you realize it's full of One Piece merchandise, with toy versions of Chopper and Luffy. But we can't go on without mentioning the most iconic reference of all, Gintama, an anime known for its parodies. And of course, One Piece wasn't left out. In one scene, Jintoki appears dressed exactly like Luffy. In another, we see a copy of the One Piece opening, but the climax is in episode 329, where Gintama eats the wave fruit, which gives him super stylish hair. Assassination Classroom is famous for its Naruto references, but its One Piece references are even better. Check out this student imitating Luffy's Gear's second pose exactly. Or this kid caught playing the official One Piece game on the Nintendo DS. And that brings us to Momoi from the anime Good Luck Girl, who took things too far, literally becoming Luffy. Even her name was changed to Momo GD Luffy. At what point does this become plagiarism? Speaking of plagiarism, Tower of God basically ripped off One Piece. They created a swordsman in a black outfit who looks like a generic Walmart Zoro. If you want to be a cool swordsman, at least try to be original, but Dragon Ball Super did it better. In episode 17, Krillin's doorbell rings, with the One Piece opening theme, and the connection goes even further. Krillin shares Luffy's voice actor, the legendary Mayumi Tanaka. She's become so iconic that any anime featuring her ends up paying homage to One Piece. If you've never watched Fairy Tail, you probably missed the many references. A secondary character is a Shanks clone. At another point, Luffy appears in the crowd. In episode 205, you can see him looking at the sun. This is because One Piece author Oda is friends with Fairy Tail's author, so it's all in place. But it's not just anime. American shows and games also reference One Piece. In The Simpsons, we have a Walmart-style version of Zoro alongside homages to Naruto, Pokemon, and Attack on Titan. Even Teen Titans got in on the fun. Robin appears dressed like Luffy, straw hat, icon on his belt, and even a ship in the background that resembles the Thousand Sunny. Heroes or pirates. Assassin's Creed 4, the quintessential pirate game, has a ship called the Thriller Bark, clearly a reference to the largest ship in One Piece, and it destroys other ships just like the original. One Piece's biggest fan may be DC Comics. In an Aqualad comic, Nami and Robin appear sitting on the beach, not even trying to hide it. Nami's tattoo is clearly visible. Later, we see a shop called Frankie House, and Usopp appears in a sniper scope, a reference to our Sniper King. Even World of Warcraft makes reference to it. There's a weapon called Akanu's Absolute Justice, which pays homage not only to Akanu's name, but also to his magma powers. Now let's talk about My Little Pony. Yes, there are pony versions of Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro. And the best part? They're not fighting. Maybe being a pony really does change a person or horse. Many children's shows also make references. In the amazing world of Gumball, the characters recreate a classic Luffy expression. The faces are identical. Gumball's creator is a self-confessed anime addict, so the reference was inevitable. In Craig of the Creek, we have two incredible moments. A character finds a Going Merry toy, and then we see a book called Two Piece, with a girl wearing Luffy's hat. Simple and straightforward. In the Food Wars manga, the author paired Nami with several famous girls from other manga, one page with 7 Easter eggs at once. And perhaps the cutest reference comes from the anime Himoto Amaru-chan, where the protagonist is obsessed with One Piece and lives with a miniature Luffy plush hat. When even anime characters are anime fans, you know something is legendary. Pokemon Go, one of the biggest apps in history, has released a Pikachu wearing a straw hat, a nod to Luffy and Oda's love of the game. Sonic the Hedgehog was cancelled by One Piece fans after a comic book with a cover identical to that of a manga volume. Fans were unforgiving. In another anime, they created a food truck owner who's basically Sanji out of the sea. And let's face it, feeding Luffy must be a lot harder than selling food on the street. The anime Dr. Stone also paid homage. When asked about humanity's greatest achievements, a character responds, "A monkey in a a straw hat, a clear reference to Luffy, one of humanity's greatest achievements, maybe. And this tribute goes beyond entertainment. In Haikyuu, a character travels to a town where he knows no one. The solution? He starts talking about One Piece and makes friends. Literally, the anime saved his social life. Returning to Gintama, the references are endless. One character wears Chopper's hat. Another searches for a treasure called One Part. And there's even a fake movie called Dragon and Bleep Piece, featuring Luffy's moves and Crocodile as the villain. In episode 329, Jintoki declares he wants to be the Samurai King and become rich. He forms a crew and goes through a 2-year time skip, just like the Straw Hats. But the animators realized they were going too far and stopped before copying the entire plot. And finally, Scott Pilgrim. The original comic book version has the protagonist's apartment full of references. The best of them? Poster featuring the Straw Hat Pirates Jolly Roger. It all leads back to One Piece. And of course, we can't forget the special One Piece chapter made in honor of Naruto's ending. In return, Naruto's author drew the Straw Hat Pirate symbol on Naruto's forehead, a beautiful exchange between two legends. But none of these references are as insane as Yoshiki's. A villain murders a girl's entire family and before leaving asks her, manga or anime? Psychopath? Maybe. But if he loves One Piece, can he really be that bad? So, did you manage to catch all the Easter eggs, or did you end up like Zoro trying to find your way out? If you enjoyed this crazy hunt for One Piece references and other anime, give us a big like and subscribe to the channel for more crazy theories, fun facts, and Usopp-worthy laughs. Comment below which Easter egg was the most "what" in the video, or if we missed one that even Brooke would be startled by.